Okay, this is for the eye dissection or eye special senses video. We have our extrinsic eye muscles, our sclera, and then our cornea here. Cornea here. And then we have our choroid layer with all of our arteries and veins, and nerves. And then, hectic, our iris, our aqueous humor is in the front portion there. Our lens, and then our vitreous humor, which is disconnected. And then here is our ciliary body, our oris aorta and ciliary muscles, and then these are our ciliary processes, each of these individual little white things, and then our suspensory ligaments are there and then hold our lens in place. In the back, we have our retina, which is this. The yellow part is the fovea centralis. Then the red part around it is the macula lutea. People like to say Hakuna Matata to remember that, but it's a good way to remember it. But just remember the pronunciation is macula lutea, and then our optic disc in the back, which is our blind spot. Now, as for the light pathway, we essentially put all that back together. I'm not going to do that just for sake of time, but it goes through the cornea, and then through the pupil, and then through the aqueous humor, the lens, the vitreous humor, and then to the retina. And then at the retina, this is where the conversion happens. So it goes through the ganglion cells, and then the bipolar layer, the rods and cones, and then the pigmented epithelium here. At the pigmented epithelium, we see some absorption of light. Then it bounces back out, and at the rods and cones, this synapses with the bipolar layer and generates an action potential, which gets sent back out to the ganglion cells that have axons, which converge that action potential back to the optic disc, which then goes to the optic nerve, and then the optic chiasma, optic tract, and then to the thalamus, and then to the visual cortex of the occipital lobe. So that is the pathway for light. I'll just push that to the side for now. Now we have the ear. So this is our pinna, and then our external ear canal, tympanic membrane, our malleus, incus, and then stapes. This is the vestibule, and then these are the semicircular canals. You have your anterior, posterior, and then lateral. And then this is our cochlea. This is the cochlea. And then you have your vestibular cochlear nerve here. This is the vestibular section, and then the cochlear section. And this is your eustachian tube. So for the pathway for hearing, it goes in the pinna, into the external acoustic canal. It hits the tympanic membrane, which hits the malleus, which vibrates the incus, and the incus vibrates the stapes. And then the stapes acts like a piston, moving the perilymph, which is in all of these, and that vibrates that. This perilymph then goes into this, and so the perilymph vibrates, and the perilymph is in the scala vestibuli, or the vestibular duct, vibrates the cochlear duct, or the scala media, and moves this basement membrane here. The basement membrane allows the hair cells in the organ of Corti, which is in here, to vibrate up against the tectorial membrane. In that vibration, think of hair cells hitting up against like a wall. That causes a synapse, which is where action potentials are generated. So remember, the hair cells in the organ of Corti hit the tectorial membrane, creating synapse, which creates action potentials, which go to the spiral ganglion in here, which then go to the vestibular cochlear nerve, and then out to the auditory cortex in the temporal lobe. Now, for all the vibrations that don't get used, I forgot this is the oval window that the stapes moves in and out of, but all the vibrations that don't get used move out to the apex of the cochlea in the scala vestibuli, and then go back through the scala tympani, which is this lower layer, back through the scala tympani, and then dissipates out the round window. And this vibration that dissipates out the round window goes down through the Eustachian tube. That is Special Senses, the quick and dirty of it.